Alrighty, fellas, let's talk about every 300,000 mile interval. Yes, this is part of my high mileage series. Yes, to the new viewers, this truck has over 500,000 miles. And no, hold on a second. And I'm not basing, see, look at that, 553051. That is over 500,000 miles. I'm not basing my review off of just one truck, numerous trucks with these results. So this is coming from millions and millions of miles of proof and research that we've done. I mean, just think about it. We've probably had north of 20 fourth gens. We probably had 20 fourth gens that we ran with, all of them hitting north of 500,000. And then we have a lot of customers with them. So this is not a one-time deal. I mean, we've had numerous customers follow the same schedule and they were seeing the same results. Obviously, you need to have yourself a good truck. If your truck was built on a Friday night, luckily we never landed one of those, you're SOL. But here we go. Yes, this is the first time I'm ever cheating. I got me a little sticky note. First time ever doing a video with a sticky note. Alrighty, let's talk about under the hood before we go to the back of the truck. This actually helps me as I'm going down the truck. So under the hood, 300,000 mile interval, we're seeing the alternators commonly go anywhere from 320 to 365 like clockwork. So I'm telling you, change your alternator. AC pump. AC pumps last a very long time. The AC pump on this truck will last 500,000, but do not do that. So here's why. If you wait till the AC pump goes, it throws metal into the system, and then you can't keep an AC pump in there. So I've seen these things with 500,000-600,000. They're inexpensive. Just don't jeopardize, blowing that pump and putting Shrednol through fine metal particles through the whole system, and then you're in a lot of trouble. Change your AC pump. Highly advise you to go with an OEM one. I have not had good luck with aftermarket AC pumps. I've got my butt handed to me with AC pumps. Now keep in mind, if you're new to the channel, we deal with a lot of pickups. My diesel shop deals with a lot of pickups. The data that I'm collecting from is from my trucking side. The pickups are used for hot shotting. So we are fortunate to have customers to pick data from and our own fleet. I think that's why a lot of customers come our way, because they see we're running these fleets and they're getting phenomenal mileage. As I said, you need a good truck. You need to take care of a good truck, and then you'll get these results. Something that's very often overlooked is calipers and rotors. That's the next thing. Oh no, let's take a step back. Under the hood, there's a thing called after treatment. I hate that system because it hasn't been perfected yet. We are headed that direction because the newer generation trucks tend to have less and less problems with them. They're more efficient. Before I get talking about the problems, the newer trucks are more efficient with their after treatment. These Ford gens, the after treatment is kind of rough. You got to baby it. They plugged up pretty quick, but because we're always on the interstate and they keeps it empty, keeps them fresh. But we noticed anywhere between 260 and about 350, they like to crack. They like to break down. They're fairly plugged. You could definitely feel the after treatment is getting plugged. But I'd like to, push it as far as I can because it's such an expensive part. And those are about 300,000. Those last, we push them to 300. If we don't have any issues, we'll push them at 300,000. They do okay. As I said, they start cracking, and then you'll see a little bit of smoke in your tailpipe. Your tailpipe starts getting dirty. If you see that, you got a bad filter that's cracking on you. So those don't really leave you stranded on the side of the road. You'll start getting check engine lights, codes, and then your truck's going to get slower and slower because of it being so plugged up. And there's one thing you got to realize. It's all a chain reaction. If you don't keep up with one thing, it takes out another. So that's why it's super important to have maintenance and preventative maintenance. Preventative maintenance is probably more important than maintenance because maintenance screams at you, hey, you're past due on your oil change. But the fact of the matter, for example, you neglect your CCV ventilation filter, and now your after treatment is getting hammered. You neglect that $100 filter, $75 filter, now your turbo's getting hammered. It's all a chain reaction, guys. Do not neglect your maintenance. Let's go down to those calipers and rotors. Rotors are pretty self-evident, right? You look at them, they're chewed up. You gotta change them out. But the calipers, what happens with calipers, they wear out, and they're you got your pins, right, that you got to service at 200, but the calipers have their wear as well. Well, I'd advise you to service your pins every 100,000. So 100, 200, now you have 300. Just put new calipers on it. The pins is one thing, but the actual cylinder, they start wearing out. They grip differently. And if you rely on your truck as a daily, as far as working it every day, and you got weight behind it, change your calipers. Now, if you just drive around your booty and you're just running errands with it and you're tight on money, I probably wouldn't jump to that conclusion and tell you to change them. You know, if they're not dragging, meaning you got your truck in the air and the caliper's not dragging, I guess you keep pushing it. But it's not going to quit all of a sudden on you. But in an extreme case, when you do have a lot of weight on it, it's gonna be do or die kind of situation with the caliper. Newer ones, they shine. When you guys do your calipers, okay, do your master cylinder. It's a necessity, and only go with OEM master cylinder. The brake master cylinder. The boosters don't really go south. We change them when they're readily available. Shoot, man, I screwed up that, didn't I? When the booster is readily available, we change them as well, but we don't really, it's more of a preventative thing. We've never had one fail. And I mean, knock on wood, but you know, it's just one of those things. We're in there, you might as well do it kind of scenario. So master cylinder and your calipers every 300,000 with OEM is a big safety concern. I would say it's a requirement if you're towing. If you're just bumping your booty around town, I guess you could let it go. But you know, just if you're making money with your truck, quit being stupid. Put some money back into it. But if you're just hauling your behind around, I mean, I've seen these things at 400,000. The guy was 450 or 460. The guy was a salesman, and nothing really wrong with it besides high mileage. So you guys are gonna say, what about the gearbox? What about the suspension, guys? This series is more of a quote unquote preventative / maintenance. It's more on that side where hitting things. We don't have issues with these suspensions at all. You're gonna have ball joints, probably. You know, your ball joints are probably gonna go every 200,000, 300, depending what environment you're in. We're always on the freeway, so ours go every 300,000, but don't neglect it. Inspect your ball joints. But that's self-evident, right? I made this series more of the hidden stuff that people neglect, or the schedule that we follow, which in turn is preventative maintenance. It's not, hey, your tires are bald, or hey, your brake pads are worn out. You know, something to say about brake pads. I did not mention it in my 200,000 mile mark. If your brake pads are not worn out, change them out. The glue lets go. So the pad lets go from the frame, and it just wedges itself, makes a disaster. So don't forget that. If your pads lasted 200,000, change them out. Life or no, or whatever the case may be. Because of the age of the caliper, not age of the pad that's sitting in that caliper, it could do so much damage. Change those out. Alrighty, guys, I better wrap this up. As always, may the Lord bless you, and may you all have a mighty find. Oh my goodness, guys, I just remembered. 90%, guys, 90% your turbo actuator is gonna go right about 300,000. It's gonna go somewhere between 200 and 300. But if it's 300,000 on your truck and you haven't done a turbo actuator, just get one in there. You might get lucky at 305 or 320, but you're gonna have to replace it. Turbo actuator usually, often, you know, you start getting weaker exhaust brake, or you start getting a little bit weaker XL or weird response in the throttle. That's first telltale signs. 40% of the time it's weird acceleration. 60% of the time you start getting a little bit of a weak exhaust brake, or it just all of a sudden quits on you. You know, it's a turbo actuator, so keep that in mind. All right, guys, I better say my goodbyes to you. Wish you the best, nothing but the best. May the Lord bless you.